when I first moved to Los Angeles, there was a very well-intentioned policy paper published, which was called College Begins in Kindergarten. No, it doesn't. If we had more time, I would go into this. But it doesn't. Kindergarten begins in kindergarten. You know, whether kids go to college is a function of what becomes of them over the ensuing 15, 18 years. But I know kids, it may be true here in Toronto, who are being interviewed for kindergarten. Interviewed for kindergarten, presumably producing resumes. You know, being distributed among these unimpressed selection panels. You know, going, well, this is it. You've been around for 36 months. This is it, you know. You've done nothing. You've spent the first 6 months breastfeeding, from what I can see. It's outrageous, isn't it? It's outrageous. But we're running school systems on this basis. I came across a great quote I want to read you in just a minute from Abraham Lincoln. You know, President Obama, I think, is a great hope, not just for the United States, but for all of us. And he's fond of quoting, supposed to fond of voting. Language evolves. Keep up. Keep up. Honestly. Are you not voting at all at the moment? Anyway, I'm very fond of this vote. From Abraham Lincoln. This was to his second annual message to Congress in December 1862. And he said this: "The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise with the occasion." I love that. Not rise to the occasion, rise with it. "As our case is new, so we must think anew and act anew. We must disenthrall ourselves, and then we shall save our country." I love that word, disenthrall ourselves. Because what he's pointing to, as I understand it, is that we're all of us entrapped in ideas and assumptions that have hypnotized us, to which we are enthralled. We haven't stopped to think about them. And we still think things are true, which ceased being true a long time ago. Susan Langer and others, and Thomas Kuhn would call this a paradigm shift, when we're being lurched into a new set of realities with an old set of ideas, and they're tripping us up at every point. Every school system on Earth currently shares some common features. One, there is a hierarchy of subjects in school. Two, they think there are subjects. Three, they are obsessed with standardized testing. And four, they are preoccupied with getting people to college. One of the ideas that's at the heart of the current education system is economic utility. It isn't an accident that the arts are low down the pecking order. It's deliberate, because it's in the service of an economic model. And the model was industrialism. When you think of it, there were no education systems funded by taxation, available to everybody, free of charge, compulsory, really before the end of the 19th century. If you wanted to get educated before that, you had to find yourself a Jesuit, you know, and hang out. You know, but the reason we have public systems of education funded by taxation was the growth of the industrial economy. And education is modelled systematically. Its systematic features are modelled on the precepts of industrialism. What I mean is it's a linear system. You know, you start here and you pop out the far end. Educated. In catering, there are two methods of quality assurance. One of them is standardizing. And that's what gives you the Michelin guide. And so that's what gives you fast food, you know, like McDonald's and Burger King and all those joints that you may like. The thing is, whichever one you go to, you know exactly what you're going to get because it's all standardized. Same burger, same buns, same fries, standardized. But it's guaranteed. The other method of quality assurance is like the Michelin guide or the Zagat guide. And there, nothing is standardized. They simply say, these are the criteria of a great restaurant. And if you meet these criteria, you're in the guide. How you meet them is your affair. They don't say what to put on the menu. They don't say what times to open. They don't tell you what to put the staff in, what uniforms to wear, or to wear any. And the result of that is that all Michelin restaurants are fantastic, and they're all different. And they're all much better than fast food. And what's happening in education is that we've been sold the fast food model of standardization. And what we need is the Michelin guide. Because all the great schools I know, and there are many of them, are different from each other. They do similar things, they cover the same ground, but they're all uniquely themselves. You know, the thing we value about these musicians is they're all different. All the great orchestras are different. They all do the basic stuff really well, but then there's something about them that's different. But when we come to education, we've come to homogenize it. And the reason, I think, is because this industrial metaphor has led too many people to think that reforming education is the same thing as bailing out the auto industry. That all we have to do is to remove the excess, get focused on the core job, strip away the nonsense, get people on task, and standardize. But the problem is that motor cars have no interest in the means of their production. And children do. Children are deeply invested in how they are educated. So when people start giving out numbers like, you know, it's a 30% dropout rate, or a 50% dropout rate, or a 90% dropout rate, I always want to stop and say, yeah, that's true. But every one of these kids has a personal story. Every kid drops out for a reason. Every kid stays in for a reason. In the end, education is deeply and inevitably and irrevocably personal.